What's up, everybody? PG Braun here, president of Blackstone Labs. I'm standing here with a very, very nervous Marissa DaCosta, or as I like to call her, Marissa Trentacosta. Shout out to her dad. And today we are doing something very special. This is our first ever cooking segment. Do you have a cute name for it?
Nope.
Nope.
You?
We don't have a cute name yet. If you guys think of something good, leave it in the comments below. And so we do these protein cookies, or Marissa does them actually, and everybody loves them and has been saying that we should put out the recipe, but we've been holding it to ourselves until now. I don't have a fancy name for these cookies yet, but the main ingredient is our Blackstone Labs protein. And you can use three-way or isolation. Honestly, the protein tastes so good, no matter what flavor that you pick, it's just gonna kind of change the actual flavor of the cookies a little bit, but you can use whatever you want. The macros are gonna be slightly different if you use isolation or three-way, but for the sake of this video today, which one are we using?
We're gonna use this one.
Which I can't even see.
Vanilla peanut butter.
No, this is vanilla isolation.
Oh no.
So we're gonna use
I opened the wrong one.
vanilla peanut butter. All right, so I'll open this up. So
I've actually never tried that one. So we've made it before with chocolate and cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream is my favorite. But like I said, guys, you can do this with any of the flavors of the protein, and it's gonna taste really good. So I'm gonna let Marissa take over because she's the one that actually makes these. And let's break it down so everybody can know how to make these at home, babe.
All right, so first you're gonna start out with your bananas. The recipe calls for 4. So you can, depending on how many cookies you wanna make, you can up the bananas. So you're gonna peel them and mash them up.
Do you always use a fork?
You can, or you can use a whisk, but you know what? You know how I am, what kind of cook I am. Or
So,
baker.
does it matter how ripe the bananas are?
It does. So when you're shopping, you want to get the ones that you probably wouldn't pick.
Why wouldn't you pick them?
If you, because they're a little
So
riper
they're very
than usual.
ripe.
So if you want to, keep your bananas like through the week, I wouldn't pick those.
Yeah, so a little bit brown. You don't want to have a unripe banana because it'll be way too hard and it'll throw off the consistency of the cookie. We were shopping for bananas the other day and I saw this creepy old guy. And I don't know what was going on. He was with his wife and he had 2 unripe bananas, 2 big green,
and they were green,
unripe bananas, and he was comparing them like this and he was going, this one's gonna be better for you. And I was like, ew, what is he doing with those? It's not that kind of show though, so we'll go back to the cooking.
No.
So she does this, not me, so I'm gonna let her run through it.
Yeah, so this just takes a little bit of time, guys. The more you, I call it mush or mesh the bananas up, the better, because you want that smoother consistency. So I'm just gonna try to rush through this.
Now, while you're smashing these up,
yes,
to save on time, what can I do? Can I preheat the oven?
You can measure, okay, yes, you can do that.
What do I preheat the oven to?
350.
So you're gonna set the oven on bake for 350, that I'm gonna do right now.
And you can also get the chocolate chips together if you'd like. So out of these bananas, also the size of the banana matters for the recipe. Just try to get not super small, not super big either. I feel like these are huge.
Yeah, those are big.
For bananas. So you wanna get a decent size, but not crazy big.
You like your bananas a little smaller?
I mean, for this recipe, I do.
Thank God. So keep smashing them up. How many bananas are we at right now?
We are at 1,
All right, keep
4.
smashing.
No, 3. We're at 3. You're distracting me with
I'm
that
sorry.
comment.
So you're smashing up the bananas.
So then after this, what we're gonna do is pour it in that big bowl. You guys also wanna get a big mixing bowl to hold everything in there. So hold on.
All right,
Last one.
With the bananas,
Yes.
the next ingredient is what?
The next ingredient is your protein powder. So I usually put 2
Does it really
scoops.
matter the order that you go with the ingredients?
No, it kind of does because you want to make sure the consistency of the cookies isn't too dry. So if you put the oats in and then 2 scoops of protein, it may be not good to work with, not a good.
Aren't you just
consistency
mixing it
to
all
work
up anyway?
Listen, this is.
All right, so we're going in order.
So as you guys
Which
can
she
tell,
doesn't
he's
do
never baked
normal
these,
the time
He's
when
just tasted them.
Yes, I do not cook these. For the sake of this cooking segment, I'm involved today.
Hold on, can we tell them what I said about baking?
Well,
So
she doesn't bake the right way, so.
Well, he said that you have to follow the recipe. Honestly, guys, I just do like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then if it comes out good, great. Which it
Bakers
usually
out there are
does.
going crazy right now because you got to use the proper measurements when you bake.
But
Follow the rules.
this is what I did with these cookies, and look at you love them every time.
No, they're good. They're a little bit different every time. That's what I enjoy about these cookies. The last ones, though, were the first times we did them with the cookies and cream three-way, and I found that those were the best.
All right.
All right, so we're smashed. We got a lot of smashed up bananas. You can get a good look at that.
All right. So now I'm just gonna pour them in the bowl.
Okay. Now we're gonna add in
The protein.
the protein, of course.
Blackstone,
This is the plight of every fitness person, finding the scooper in the protein. Actually, it's kind of close to the top. How about that? Worked out pretty good. So we're doing 2 scoops of this, right?
Yes.
There's one. Really jamming it in there. Gotta
I was
get that
gonna say
protein.
you're so gentle.
All right.
Okay, so now just mix that all together with the mashed bananas.
Smells good already.
So this is gonna be basically like the base of your cookies. So these are flourless also.
We don't care about flour. We don't. Really. Fitness people usually don't want flour.
I know, that's a
Flour is the enemy in the world of fitness. Not to me.
All right, so now the oats. Now we are going to do, hold this for me. We're gonna do.
Does it matter if you use old-fashioned oats or quick oats?
No, I've done both. I like, these are the old fashioned. I like these because they're a little bit thicker and they add a little bit more consistency. Yeah, texture.
So how much oats?
1.5 cups.
So you're actually using the cup thing. So she's once again breaking baking rules because she's eyeing it out. We're gonna assume this is 1.5 cups, right?
It is, look.
That looks like to me
hold
like
on.
1 2/3.
There's a thing here.
No, it's good enough.
There's a little thing. Whatever, anyway, guys, so.
So now, what do we do? Just keep stirring
Mix
this?
it,
All right, so
Keep stirring it. Now, sometimes, depending on the size of the bananas and stuff, I actually add more oats. Like, for me right now, I'd add more oats personally just because the consistency is a little wetter.
it's a little moist. So do we want to put more oats in?
I mean, we can.
If you think that it's going to make them better, I mean, it's going to screw the macros, but it's fine.
Yeah, just, if you guys are gonna make it, just make it with 1.5 cups. But, okay, let's just dump
You're
it
just not
out.
happy with this? Okay.
No,
Oh,
no.
wow, okay.
That's my cookie.
That's actually good.
Baking.
All right, so
Okay, so now we are going to add, let's do the peanut butter.
what kind of peanut butter should they use?
Just the regular creamy. If you want organic, we got organic because it's healthier.
But I prefer to not use organic. Let's be real. So I specifically like Reese's peanut butter. Do I think that it's really that much different or better than regular peanut butter? Probably not, but I fully trust in anything that is involved with Reese's in any way. Some of you know that's my favorite candy is Reese's peanut butter cups, so we're actually not gonna use this black healthy people peanut butter, and we're gonna use Reese's, right?
And you'll be eating these later.
I'm gonna eat some anyway, so. All right.
All right, are we,
How much peanut
are
butter?
we doing it the way that I measure it?
Jack, come on.
Do you want to do it the way that I measure it?
Yes, show everybody how you
Okay,
measure.
so this
the
is-
recipe calls for how much peanut butter?
A tablespoon.
1 tablespoon.
Yep. So this is.
So just so you know,
Well, hold on.
when I calculated the macros on these, watch how she does it. Just do it how you normally do it. So just so you know, if you're dieting and I tell you to eat a tablespoon of peanut butter and that's what you eat, you are cheating on your diet. So we're gonna call this 1.5 tablespoons of peanut butter. And that's how I did the macros that way, by the way. I calculated them around her measurements, not what the recipe calls for. So now we're gonna stir that up. It's a little bit different stirring it up with something like the Reese's peanut butter versus the organic stuff, which is a lot more liquidy.
Yes. This actually, I love this Reese's.
And then the final ingredient, when you're done mixing that up, this is where it gets a little crazy.
This is where it gets a little. In PJ's world, it gets a little crazy.
So tell everybody what you do here.
Oh man. So usually, The recipe calls for 1/4 cup of these little dark chocolate morsels. But PJ, every time I make them, he's like, the more chocolate, the better. And every time I make them, I add more and more. And every time he's like, oh my God, what did you do differently? He's like, they taste amazing. I'm like, more chocolate chips, which obviously changes the macros.
So we calculated this for the 1/4 cups. That's what we're gonna do for the sake of this.
All right, but this is.
And then we're mixing that around. Now, while she's doing this, the sous chef that I am, I'm gonna help out. I'm gonna go get the cookie sheet.
Now this, guys, the oven 350, and you can bake them for about 15 minutes.
So 15 minutes in the oven on 350. And then how do you measure them out? So just so you guys know, we want you to do 15 cookies out of this, all right? And so when I give you the macros at the end, this is based around 15 cookies, but you could make these as big or small as you want. You wanna change it around and make some giant ass cookies?
I've even had
Do it.
I've even had people say that they make like a thin sheet
Yep,
also.
you can do the sheet like that and make it into like a bar, a protein bar. It'll be way tastier than most of the bars that are out there on the market. There's that one that's like 3 letters. I'm sure some of you guys that have had it, it tastes way better than that one, by the way. I'd rather you spend money on our stuff than theirs.
I'm just laughing to myself because I remember us doing this before and we were arguing about the size of the cookie.
So when you get your cookie sheet, let's move the protein out of the way. All you need for the cookie sheet is some foil and some pan. Spray it down with some pan.
So I literally, just like a rounded version of a tablespoon.
That's like a heaping tablespoon.
Okay, all right.
And how far do you space them out on the sheet?
I mean,
Pretty close.
like a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. This really doesn't matter because these cookies don't have flour, so they don't really rise that much. So you don't have to worry about them like running into one another or getting too fluffy or high.
So while she's doing that, as you see how they're spaced out, this is gonna get you 15 cookies. And I always feel like it's gonna be more, but you make them decent size and it'll get you 15 cookies that are this size. So now, like she said, you don't have to make them into these cookies this size. You can space it out, you can figure it all out. And it's really easy for you to figure out the macros based on what you put in. And then just, of course, dividing it up the right way. You all have calculators on your phone. So while she's doing this, I'm gonna show you what happens when you take these bad boys out of the oven. They come out finished, looking like that. That's the magic of TV right there. We have a finished bunch of cookies. It's also hilarious that I just said that's the magic of TV. I've been saving that one for a while. So these are really good. And I will wind up eating a lot of these in a short amount of time. They're all good. They're very moist. Super, super good.
And as you guys can tell, these have a little bit more.
Also, so what you can also tell is that she, put this one on her for a second.
Oh no.
Didn't follow the rules of what I said for baking, and she actually used a small cookie sheet, and there's actually only 12 on here, which is gonna completely change the macros that I'm about to give you guys now. So,
No, but just, it makes 15. There's a little bit left over, so.
that's 12.
Yeah, but it would have made 15. I'm just
Yes,
trying to like,
there's-
do the sheet.
for the sake of the sheet, I get it. So, let me give you the macros on these guys. So the macros on these are kind of excuse my language, we'll bleep that out for YouTube. But they're really not, and I'll explain why. A large portion of the calories come from these delicious
Those little things.
dark chocolate chips.
Yeah.
By the way, you can use milk chocolate chips, you wanna use peanut butter chips, you can change up the flow of these cookies, make them to the way that you want them to be. Now, dark chocolate has numerous benefits. It's a very good treat for you. So, it makes me feel a little better about myself that I took this very, very healthy, right, cookie and kept it healthy with the dark
But guess
chocolate.
what? what? You fast all day, so.
I just ruined my fast with the cookies. So let me give you guys the breakdown.
No.
If you do the 15 cookies the way that we suggested in the beginning, here's your breakdown as far as macros go. So each cookie this way is gonna have 3.2 grams of fat, 13.7 grams of carbs, and 4.8 grams of protein, which will absolutely change dramatically if you remove those dark morsels. So,
Which, hold on, I made them before without the chocolate, and they're really, really good.
they're still,
also.
yes, they're still very good.
And you can put like anything in them.
That quarter cup of those dark chocolate chips has 24 grams of fat and 32 grams of extra carbs. So that, of course, changes the macros down a lot because your fat is dramatically lower. Really, most of the fat comes from the peanut butter when you do it the other way. So the fat content goes way down for those of you who are concerned about that. I'm obviously not. I'm not competing. Doesn't matter to me. I want my cookies to taste good. So this, what I suggest for a serving size, like I said, you can do this any way you want. If you do the cookies like this, you're gonna eat 3 cookies, right? So 3 cookies will give you 9.6 grams of fat, 41 grams of carbs, and just about 15 grams of protein. So when can you eat these? You can eat these before you work out for extra energy. You can eat them after you work out. You can really eat them whenever you want. I mean, they're cookies, they're good. When you eat cookies normally, at least you're making them a little bit healthier. They're certainly better for you than
With your coffee.
an Oreo, right? That's for sure. And I'm being dead up honest when I say I would rather eat one of these cookies than an Oreo. Oreo people are gonna think that I'm crazy and that's blasphemous. These are just really good for me, for my personal taste.
Yeah.
And I also like the idea of having some of my protein in it. I think it's a great way to get your protein in a different variety. And some people will say, oh, when you cook the protein, it denatures it. Not really. Just eat the cookies, they're good. And I never thought that I would be that into a little treat, a little fitnessy treat, because I think most of this healthy stuff that you guys make is whack, but these cookies are absolutely phenomenal. Everybody that's tried them has been asking us for the recipes, so I told Marissa, let's do a little cooking video.
Hold on, just a bite of the cookie.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can be really creative with it. You can put like nuts, you can put cranberries, you can like, and you don't have to put the chocolate in
Craisins.
there.
Put raisins in there.
Raisins.
What else? Am I putting it on the spot?
Kinda.
Sorry. So if
When
you
you
like,
start asking me questions, you make me a little.
I know, I said I wouldn't do that. So if you guys like the way that we did this little cooking show, skit, whatever you want to call it for you, let us know. Subscribe to the damn YouTube page, and you can write in the comments underneath all the troll stuff if you want us to do more cooking, because there is other stuff that we can do with the protein and also
Like
with our
some
fast food. We
pancakes.
can make some pancakes. We can maybe do that in the next one. Let us know. Do you want to say anything before we go goodbye?
No. Hope
No?
you guys enjoy the cookies.
We're
Everybody's been asking me, so now the recipe's out there. So
Now it's
just,
out.
like I said,
Copy
kind
away.
of a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
That's not how you bake. For my lovely Miss Marissa, I am Gibran. Peace out, bye.